Okay, I think we can go ahead and just kick it off. So this session, I want to review how we can manage common formatting issues. One of, or two of the ones that I came up with, and we can go over any others that you think of, but I want to review how to make a list of PDFs like I have here and replace them. So when you have existing links already there, and maybe you want to replace the file entirely, or you need to remove the link and add a different PDF link. We're going to go over how to do all that. And then I also want to practice copying and pasting from formatted text. I went through our Milo files and I found a couple of different versions. This is the Delaware Leagues voter, where we can see quite a bit of formatting added compared to this. I don't remember which leagues voter, Los Alamos in New Mexico. They also have some formatting, but it is, just different. So we're going to play around with both of these and see how they translate to Milo. We might even play around with the impact on issues. Theirs is a little bit simpler as far as the formatting, but I know that this is possibly something that you would be accessing. So those are the examples that I'm coming ready with. And I think we'll just start off. So, are there any questions before I start off? Okay. So I have a list already started here. We typically see lists like this on voter newsletter pages where, it'll have December, November, and it just keeps going. And so we often have to keep adding to the list, either in this, top down order or bottom up order, or you have to replace links, whatever it may be. We are going to practice how to do that. So the first step is recognizing the path down here. Let me actually zoom in. Sorry, it might be helpful. So you'll notice that, so I have my cursor placed up here just to show you the neutral path down below. Sorry if that's hard to see. My cursor box is in kind of light pink. But that path down there, wherever our cursor is placed, gives us a little clue as to what the HTML is doing. So, and the HTML also equates to the formatting. So my cursor is placed here in this first sentence. It's set to special under the styles, and we can see that in the path that correlates. When it comes to PDF links, you'll notice that, and I think that it's for PDF links and images. So any media that you've inserted into your page, you'll notice that the path goes to span.media element. That gives us the clue that there's an active media there. And when we're looking at just a link, we know that it's a document. That's the media that's being linked there or active there. So I say all that as far as recognizing that path, so that if you are working with a list where you're adding on to it, whether it's from the bottom top, as soon as we add a bullet or add to the list, we hit enter, the path is still showing up as the media element is active there. But we know that we need it to be blank because we have not yet specified the new link to a doc that will go there. So what we can do before we even start to add the next link, we use the eraser button. The span being there is totally fine. It is the fact that the span goes on to tell us that there's a media element there. So now that I have hit the eraser icon, if I jump back and forth with my cursor, I can tell that there's a difference. And then now I can go through the usual process of going through my media browser and dropping in another link. And I'm going to recreate this from the top of the list as well. So I'm just going to add another document so that we can ensure that it's different. I don't think I've used this one yet. All right. Okay, so we'll check those out after saving, but then I'm going to do the same thing just in reverse order. So if I were adding to the top of the list, I'll place my cursor at the start of that top bullet point, and again, hit the enter key. And when I place my cursor back in that empty bullet, it's giving me the same thing where the span media element is still being specified because it's holding on from when we hit the return key. It's holding on to that top line. So again, we just hit the eraser icon and then we can proceed to add it can be whatever link you need it to be. It doesn't have to be a PDF or document link. But using that eraser icon guarantees that the previous link is broken. All right. So we've added that. Why don't we also try replacing a link?
How do you get the title, that like notes on ongoing work? Was that part of that media?
That was actually the file name, but what you can do, so like this one, this second one, you got to think like a tree.pdf is not very nice to look at, but I can just place my cursor anywhere in there and start typing something prettier and get rid of, I'm using a backspace or delete to get rid of what I don't like. And you just rewrite what you want.
So that file name notes on ongoing work and opportunities 2019-21, that's not like the kinds where you say dot. I mean, it has spaces in it.
It is because I renamed the file. So
Okay.
yeah, usually the file will come in how we saw, how we see this one. Usually because the Milo system is adding the underscores in between and removing any capitalization. But I went back into, either I edited the file or I changed the file name right then and there during upload.
Okay.
But that is something that you can do. And anytime that you change the file name, then it drops in with that changed name. Otherwise, once you drop in a file link, like I said, you could just change it on the spot. And then either backspace, delete, whatever, to get rid of all the rest that you don't need. And that's still going to be the link. Just as long as you don't start typing at the beginning or the end, because you'll notice those letters aren't part of the hyperlink.
Thank you.
Yeah. Why don't I'm just going to copy this one so that I can replace it. Whoops. There we go. The bullet had copied as well. So as we were kind of doing before, we're still going to use the eraser button, but this time we have to first get rid of the link that's there. So that would be the first step. And then using the eraser button. Actually, let's try that again, because I think another alternative way is if you highlight the entire thing and you use the eraser, that does it as well. So what we have here, although it's still showing up as a hyperlink, it has broken down the PDF link as far as the media library's construction of it. So this is now just a simple HTML a ref link. So it is simply just telling folks to go to this URL, and the URL happens to be a .pdf. But all that to say, it is now free to be deleted. Oh, actually, it looks like the HTML for that PDF is still lingering in the background. So, okay, regardless, you will need to use the eraser button at the end. So it would make the most sense to first get rid of and then use the eraser. So sorry about that confusion. I thought that there would be a couple of ways to it, but regardless, in the end, before you add the new link, use that eraser icon because it definitely saves you the headache. If you don't use the eraser icon, we've seen that let's say if I add a link for voting, yeah, kind of notice that it can take on the link from before. So I'm going to do that again.
And Maurice, why? I'm a little confused because I never have to use any of this stuff. So I don't know how I'm doing what I'm doing, but if you wanted to get rid of the HTML, I don't understand why you just don't uncouple it.
Right.
Uncouple it as far as
You just highlight it and go up to the unlink.
Yeah, and the other thing that I usually do is I just click on the link and then just change the URL in there.
Right. Yeah, you could do that too. Yeah.
That's how I normally make those changes.
okay. That is an option because it does show up as the URL there. The biggest, well, so you aren't, with this method, you do need to go through your manage files to get the URL. Is that correct for the file itself? Or how do you find this URL?
Yes.
Okay.
I go through File Manager.
Okay, so that's
Or I just take it up, I open it up and then I grab it.
right. Okay, so that is definitely a way to do it as well. I just wanted to make folks aware if you do want to use this way of replacing it. So I place my cursor into the active link, and using the chain link, I bring up the insert edit link window. To be able to replace this link URL, I need a new PDF URL or whatever URL I'm going to use. So you can find that through, let's see, we don't have a link to it, but manage files through your Administrator League menu. Or if you come down here and you drop the file and then you open it in a new tab, it's just a little bit of extra work done this way, but it is definitely possible. I did also hesitate earlier because I'm not entirely sure, but I would imagine it might have some, I don't know if interference with the usage. You know how our media library tracks the usage of different files across our entire site. If you do change the link here, I'm not sure if the usage is associated with the new link URL or if it's still associated with somehow the previous file. That is probably not something that's super important, but if you're ever looking at the usage to be an important kind of data set for you, then that might be something to think of. But why don't we try that since that is an option, instead of me replacing the entire file for the 2004 guide. I'm just going to cheat and use one of these others. Okay, so I have the new link for the second 2004 guide, and I'll rename that link text in just a second. Okay. Let's just pretend that that's the 2005 action guide. I'll just see that as a draft so we can check it out. Okay. So we did have a little bit of fallout. The "you gotta think like a tree" did end up here. And that's something that we, we're aware could happen. But that's not too bad since that is the only place that we're seeing an additional link. But they are separate links, so it will be easy now that it has been revealed from the HTML, or I guess the WYSIWYG is no longer kind of hiding it. We can now go back into edit and just remove that really easily. But checking these out, oh, our PDF's open in a new tab by default. Okay, that looks great. Notes on ongoing work is the correct link. You gotta think like a tree. And this is just one thing too that you would want to do if you are replacing links, just checking them over, or if you're adding links. This one was a document, but it looks correct. Speaker tips. Alrighty. And then this one was the one that, okay. So I think maybe I didn't follow your steps exactly, Maddie. I think what I forgot to do was use the eraser on the link on this one here, because it's still connecting to my 2004 action guide.
Well, you used, I think you did send it to the same thing. You didn't have a 2005 action guide, right? You just changed the name in the in text.
I had updated the URL through, and let's actually try it again. I'm going to see if I can recreate just those same steps without using the eraser and see if.
Yeah, because I never used the eraser, at least not for this.
That you don't usually use the eraser for this? Okay.
They break the link.
So these kinds of links, though, they're not going to be entirely broken. So I know that we've seen it before with our images that you drop in through the media library. The HTML is usually super long and it's usually enclosed within some brackets. That's different than what we see in HTML as far as an image tag. It's gonna, in HTML, it's usually just IMG, the URL to that image, and then that's about it. But when it comes to how our media browser develops these, the code, it is different. So the HTML tags are not going to be what's used. So the fact that we use the eraser on these like custom media browser type links, it's only going to break away that customization and revert it back to a regular HTML link. So I can do that actually. Since I'm gonna play around with the 2005 action guide one, I'm gonna do that to the 2004 action guide. So I highlight the whole thing. We see that span.media element file full is still there. And I use the eraser. Span is now the only one there. But we notice, and let me see if the A was there previously, but now that we use the eraser, and I just reverted or made that change again with the eraser, the media element specification is gone, and that's what the media browser is doing. That media element part of the path is gone, and now we're just left with, after the span, we're left with the A. And that A link or A tag is what we use to say, this is a URL that you need to visit. And that A tag tells us what that URL is. So you can use the eraser on these links. It is just breaking the connection between that link and the media library.
So what happens if you do the unlink?
It is just, yeah,
Can
so
I-
this
can
one,
we Can
Yeah.
we see
Just
what it
Word.
shows?
So this one here, I have the 2004 action guide. It is still using the, customized way that the media library built it, and that's evident through span.media element. When I highlight this whole thing and use the eraser, the path changes, the span simplifies, and it's, that media element specification is gone, but we still have the A tag. So that A tag is what is used to say, this is a URL, and this is a URL that you can visit. And then ours is just specifically a PDF URL or a .pdf URL.
But what if you use the unlink? The one next to the link one that.
Oh, I see. So if you do unlink, we see that the path still shows up as the .media element. So if you're looking to unlink a PDF, what I would recommend, instead of going first to the unlink icon, so if we want to completely unlink this text, I would first break the customized link. So we use the eraser first, and then either I keep it highlighted like that, or if I just place my cursor anywhere in there, then I can break the link and we no longer have a URL. So that's a two-step process when it comes to links that you've dropped in through the media browser. Let's say if I'm working with, let me just link some text here.
So Maurice, anything that we bring in through the media browser, do we first have to upload it, or does it get uploaded while we're using the media browser?
You do have to go through the manual upload. So whether that's through your managed files or it's like here while you're editing, but you do have to upload the like document files, whether it's like a PowerPoint, a PDF, Word doc, any of those, you're not required to upload them first. Let's say you have them on a Google Drive or anywhere else online. Those links you can just plop right in, and you don't need to upload that file again to our media library. But when it comes to images, those are the only file type that are required to be uploaded to the media library in order to use them on your pages. Otherwise, like if you try and copy and paste an image in, it won't work. I think HTML image tags work, but I haven't tested that myself. But so, okay, so I wanted to show off if this is a link that I have just added manually versus, all these links up here are ones that were added through the media browser. If I wanted to unlink this, I don't need to go to the eraser first. I can simply just unlink, and that's good to go. But when it comes to, let's see, you got to think like a tree. We know that it's coming from the media library. So I first, just to be sure, I'm going to highlight the whole thing and use the eraser, and then I can unlink. And that sends it back to just regular text, and I can save it. Oh, let's actually get rid of this one. So if you have any straggler links, they will usually show up after you save, unfortunately. So it is probably best to work with your draft, saving in draft mode if you are rearranging PDF or document links. So I'm just going to do that. Yes.
Could you step through somewhat slowly replacing a link? Like you got to think like a tree. Now you want to add a link to it. Now, could you please go find a link and add it?
Yes. So if I'm working with like this here, I can, and I'm starting to notice that I can just replace, or I can work with the text that I have. I can either delete the entire thing and retype, but regardless, I am just gonna highlight what I have and open up the media browser to find my replacement file. And I do want to make sure
Now,
that it's
keep
different.
going because
So I have the document type only. I want to make sure it's not, you got to think like a tree. It should be something different. Let's just say program planning meeting. Okay, so let's just,
so you just clicked on the thing in the library. You didn't have to open it up and identify and highlight a URL path or anything.
right, yeah, correct. When you're going through the media browser, you just have to find the right one and you double click the item.
Okay.
Yeah,
I have a question. I've been putting, rather than full document, I've been just putting the link. So
Oh.
it doesn't display, yeah. You know, after the step after you've chosen it.
okay. I think you're talking about the display options. Let me see if I can pull that back up for another document here.
Yeah,
Okay,
where it says display as full content. I just display it as the link.
okay, yeah, so the document type links, whether it is an Excel doc or Word doc, PDF, PowerPoint, they will display as a link by default, but you can choose that. I'm not sure of the difference actually in the display. You'll notice that the path lets you know that you've chosen the link there, the file link. But we can test this out. I'm gonna go ahead and save since we made those couple of changes and see what we have so far.
Yeah, Maurice, I'm noticing that the way that I do it, I always just use those link buttons and none of that media browser stuff shows up in the path on those links.
And when you add those links to begin with, are they being added through the media browser or are you strictly, oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah, so I'm typing in, you know, what I want, then I highlight it. And then and after I've uploaded the documents, then I open that uploaded document and I snag that
that
URL. And I
Okay,
put that in the link. But yeah, so I guess I'm probably circumventing some of the cool stuff that the media browser does, but it
at
works.
the end, yeah, at the end of the day, it is up to your league. And if you're not going to be tracking that type of data, then that's the only, well, not the only benefit, but that is the biggest benefit that you're able to see, you know, where those things are being used. But it is the same idea of getting those links in there. So in case anybody was curious about that, let me show off. So Maddie would usually have probably at least two browsers or two windows open. That's probably the easiest way to work with it. You have your file, manage files open here where you can upload everything. And then from there, you can narrow down your list or, you know, your most recent uploads will be at the top, but you
Now,
can,
while you're there,
yes.
what is the path that you want to use? I've been using that 2022 blah, blah, blah PDF. And sometimes it doesn't work for me. What am I doing wrong, I wonder?
Yeah, there
Yeah,
is.
sometimes, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
depending
what I
on
was-
which one, it may lead you to the like description page of the file. So the bottom link is the one you want to grab. This one is going directly to the file. The
Okay.
one on top, it gets us part way there, but not all the way there. We don't want the public to see this page.
Right.
That
That's
Yeah.
why I
Okay.
always open it first.
yeah, so you can
Because-
guarantee.
Exactly,
Alright,
that I know
yeah.
for sure that I'm getting the document.
That's true. Yeah. I will say also, it's probably not too helpful because our links are usually super long, but you'll notice that this page here where it's kind of the information on the file, the URL ends without a .pdf. it doesn't have the dot before the file ending. And that's indicative of when it has .pdf or .doc, .xls, that means that it is a URL for a file. So that's a clue for you. If you take a look at the URL before you put it in there and you happen to not see the period before the file ending, then you know that you can just add the dot yourself.
But what about when you, I mean, there's also versions where it just shows a node. Maybe not, maybe that's just for pages.
Where it just shows a node. I'm not
You
sure
know,
what
you're trying to get a link to another page in the system. And you can either get it as the full path, or you can get it where it says /34762 or something, and it's a node.
the nodes. Yeah, the nodes are for content. So like pages, your homepage, slideshow items, events. The files won't have a specific node attached to them since
Okay,
they're different.
okay, that's a distinction.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you for that. And as far as this, yeah, so if you have this open, you would copy these links from the bottom under the delete option. Those would be the ones that are the document links. And then when you come back over to your draft, and we'll talk about the errors that went wrong right now, but you'll come back to your draft and then you can use either this link tool or this one. Both are going to give you the same options. And then we just paste in that URL. So that is both, I think, are extremely valid because we know that what we have built in with the media library can often come up with what we're seeing. These kinds of pop-ups are frustrating. So Maddie's way of working it is a nice alternative where you can avoid any of these issues, especially when the things start to get jumbled up where you start to feel frustrated. It may be a more streamlined way to work with it. But yeah, so going back to what I had been working on here, it looks like we have a little bit of still a little left over here. You got to think like a tree PDF link is just still stuck and stubborn there. But our text here, you got to think like a tree, did update to the program planning, whoops, which is a Word doc here. And it looks like, unfortunately, our 2004 guide did stick around. So I can check with our tech team to see if they have any ways that we can try and improve this. I am unfortunately not too hopeful, but we do know some workarounds as far as how to either prevent this entirely or how to mitigate, since we're still seeing that duplication. So I'm going to try maybe one last time to see if I can get rid of those 2004s. Does anybody have any questions?
Well, I want to go over what I had done in the same vein, but let's do what you're doing.
Okay,
first.
we can jump to that right after this. So I am first just going to try backspacing all the way until the end of the 2004 action guide. And then I'm actually going to backspace one more time. This is something that I usually do if the HTML is kind of stuck. The 2004 or the repetition of this link may have happened because the HTML is invisible to us here. The repetition of this link could be tied to the break or the space that follows this. So instead of me diving into the HTML to confirm that, or, you know, to make sure that that's not the case, what I can do on the WYSIWYG side is just get rid of the E. So that ensures that anything that might have been trailing after this link, it ensures that it's gone. And then I can go and write those missing letters again, and I get rid of the D. Just simply because if I started to write after the link, it doesn't take on the hyperlink. So I can do that again if anybody wants to see that again, but that is what you can do if the eraser and the unlink aren't enough and you're still seeing a repeated link.
Could you get rid of the break in the first line?
Yeah, so I'm going to do the same thing there. Getting rid of just the link itself, or, you know, what we saw as the hyperlinked text may not do enough. So I'm going to get rid of the 1 and then just add back 2, 1 and get rid of the 2. I'm sorry, it's a lot of jumbled because you got to get rid of one thing. You type in the thing that you're replacing, and then you get rid of that one last letter or digit again. But that should, you know, close everything up and not leave any outside link or link that may have been following it. So now we can go ahead and try that out. Oh man, so that break
Stubborn.
just doesn't work. It is definitely a stubborn link there. So yeah, it unfortunately doesn't work every single time, but you know, I probably can get rid of that entirely.
HTML. Yeah, you can probably go into HTML.
Exactly.
That is an option. This is not the prettiest. I'm going to see if maybe, let's try maybe deleting a little bit more.
What, is somebody printing? We get these buzzing sounds.
I'm hearing, yeah, I'm hearing that as well, but I'm not sure who it's coming from. We can also mute in between if you'd like. Is that me? I'm going to mute you, Maddie, and just in case. Okay. Okay. So I do want to see if we can do it without replacing the file. Let's just see about if we deleted more. Okay. So that was one way. And then I probably, without even having to save, I could have started, you know, retyping the 2019, 2021. But I'm glad that we didn't have to go as far as to have to unlink and then add the link back on. So again, it's workarounds. And we have Maddie's alternative method. So there's a few ways to get at this task that I think a lot of you are probably doing quite often. Mary Jo, you said you had a similar question. Is it about kind of links in this way?
Well, so I forget what I was working on, but I think it had to do with PDF, and I think I added it to the media library, but something wasn't working. And then at some point I actually saw like a URL, and I thought, oh, so I used that, you know, I clicked the link thing and then put that link in, and it worked fine. But at some point I do remember, you know, before it worked, obviously, I got some sort of error message, and I had never seen it before. And it was a Milo in the upper left-hand corner, big black letters, and then something to the effect that something's gone wrong, something like that.
Mm.
And I figured it was probably me. And then I only saw it the one time. And then I think it was this morning, So I put something in the members only, so you probably, I don't know if you can look at it. But I had 2 documents. So I started a new area, a new page called late league or a state league document, something like that.
Mhm.
So then what I did was I had them already in a PDF. So so I added those to the media library. And then when I went into actually I used the little link thing. It worked, and I was really surprised because I thought I was going to have to deal with looking for the
Going through the media browser.
URL and stuff, but it worked. So I don't know.
For the members only ones, you copied the URL as well, or?
I never saw a URL.
Okay, it may have been.
But
through
what it
the
looked
media
like
browser.
was something like lwvmi dot blah dot PDF, but it wasn't like a URL.
Oh, okay. Then
But
it may have been,
Nice, and it worked though.
if it does start with a different like LWVMI, then that would be from a separate site, not in your Milo.
No, well, I added it to the media library. And that's how I brought it in.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, there is more than one way to,
Skin a cat.
yeah, there you go.
So, but that message and I got that message today too at some point. So is that something other people get occasionally, and should I ignore it? Or is it something I'm doing?
I can get more information from our team if they know, what the nature of that is. We haven't seen an error across the system. And I will say, I have seen that error before. It has been only on my end when it has happened. But I'm not too entirely sure, this is exactly what it means. I'm pretty sure that it's not going to be anything serious.
Oh, no, I wasn't worried. Yeah, I
But-
wasn't worried, but I thought, is it me, or is it this is, a system, slowing down and it's just letting me know? I mean, I didn't know.
Yeah, I would imagine it could be a number of things, since, it's not just our Milo system and servers. It's us as our browsers coming in to view it, our internet providers. There's a lot of different things at play. So I would imagine that they'll probably come back.
It was definitely something from Milo. Yeah. So if you want to see what I did, so it's under member only on the left. So then, so that's the new one I did, the Library of Michigan documents. And then,
Oh, okay, yeah,
so
those are both on Milo.
what do you mean they're on Milo?
You can tell that you did upload them to Milo because they start off with my.ld.
Oh, yeah, you mean I put them in the media library? Yeah.
Mhm.
So what was Jennifer saying, that she doesn't, when she puts stuff in, she gives a link, the link doesn't go to the whole document? Is that what you were saying, Jennifer? Well, I don't know the purpose of that. Misunderstood.
When I wanted to clarify, when you put something in the media library, the next screen comes up and it says display as
Right,
document or display as link.
right.
And I always have it display as link, and I didn't know if it didn't
I was
really
just curious,
matter.
why do you do that? So people.
Because I didn't want the whole document in all its printed glory to show up on the page.
I'm gonna see what the difference
Oh.
is, because we did
Well-
add a link here with.
Well, mine
instead
must have been a
showing
link
us-
too then. Well, mine was a link.
They
Like
by
that.
default, even if you leave it displaying as full content, it is going to show up as a link because. It's a
Oh,
document.
okay, that explains it
That,
because.
yeah, that's why I was curious,
But
Ah.
but I was avoiding that.
I do want
No,
to.
I
well,
was
I
curious,
appreciate-
but not willing
Yeah.
to test it out.
Of
Okay.
course.
So actually, that might be something I'll test out some more, because I know that it won't take much, but we'll probably save our meeting time for more important things, but I'm going to make a note to test out the difference between those, and I'll let you know in the group. Test,
And I guess I never noticed that I could, until you showed it, that there are options. I guess I just didn't notice it.
yeah, usually they are very helpful with images because you can manipulate the size of the image to like quarter or thumbnail.
Uh-huh.
But when it comes to these documents, just because the full content default is a link already, the other options don't provide much of a difference or like a different experience.
Thank you.
Can you show what they're talking about? I don't know where this is. Display as a link or whatever the options are.
Yeah, let me go ahead and open that up. I'm going to masquerade again. Since my screen does not resemble most folks. Okay. So we are talking about, I think I might be able to pull it up. So if I am placing my link on an existing PDF link, it should open me up. Oh no, it does not. Okay, sorry. I am going to show after I choose a file. So after you select whether it's a document, an image, whatever it is, you submit, and the next page asks you about embedding this and what the display options are in the file description. We know that the file description isn't publicly available, but it is visible to other Milo webmasters. But here is what we were talking about. The full content and link, I believe, are the same, as well as really, I think they are all the same. I haven't had my own testing of this only for images, but we're going to test this out for the difference between a link or full content. We saw this, you got to think like a tree PDF earlier when it was set to full content. Now I have it set to link, and we're just going to see if there's any difference. Oh no. It took the cheat sheet sample. Let me see if I can work with a fresh section down here. Sorry about that. Okay.
I
so
never
let's try
even
that
saw
one.
that option. I always focused on full content.
Yeah, it makes me curious to see what all the other ones are. So let's try link. Let's see if I can add a few more while we're here. I'm gonna choose, narrow that down to document. Speaker tips, I know is a PDF. Oh no, that was a Word doc. We'll try that as a preview. Oh, I don't know if that dropped in or not. Let's just save and see what actually happened. Okay, so preview, I don't think is a valid one. So it looks the same. Okay, yeah, this was the one that accidentally stuck around with the cheat sheet. But this here, you got to think like a tree PDF is set to display as a link, but it does show up as the same as full content. It opens in a new window and it still opens up in their browser. But yeah, if we want to know more about the other ones, I can definitely test those out.
So is that a link down below there? It looks like an empty square.
Yeah, this was the one that I tried to set to preview. Whoops. And so I'm going to test it out some more, but I think preview as far as a display option is not that this is what may be the result. So I'm going to keep testing it to see if that's the case. If so, then we might just recommend not to use it. I can also recommend to our team to remove that, but that is, I think, what I tried to set as a preview, since I was placing the speaker tips link right under this one here.
Yeah.
Don't you
Seems like
think that
preview.
oh, sorry.
No, I was
Right.
just gonna say, it seems like preview ought to give you like the first few lines of whatever it is that you're attaching or something like that. Is that what it was intended for?
I'm not sure. It may just have been there just out of the box. So it may be something that just doesn't even make sense with the document type file. But I'm not too sure.
I think that's the point. Maybe I'm just misunderstanding, but you have, for whatever type of media, you have the same thing where you can choose which of those. So if it's an image, you're most likely going to choose, some size or something, the first 5 or whatever there are. If it's a link to if it's a PDF document or a Word document, you want it to be a link. So I think the choice has to do with what kind of media you're trying to put in there at that point, because you're not going to, an image isn't a link. You're using this media library for multiple things. So your menus provide you the options that will work for whatever it is you're doing, but they're showing you multiple options that may not apply to what you're doing.
Yeah, I think that is probably it there, that there's some additional options that may not be for this type of file that you're working with.
Right.
And
Because you're not embedding that PDF file in your, unless that's some functionality we've never used, we don't normally embed a PDF. We usually have a link to it.
right. I think it is just because of the way that the media browser works. I think that embedding page is just stuck, like it cannot be decoupled from the whole process. So
Right.
I think that is that's the reason why it's there. And that's probably also why any number of the options will probably result in the same thing, it being a link. Because
If it's a PDF or a doc.
right. Yeah, we don't have any other way of displaying those since we don't offer a way to embed them directly through Milo. So yeah, thank you for that. Good point, Liz.
Okay.
We can quickly try and just work with Delaware's voter here. I am gonna just try and work on maybe just recreating the first page. I know that this is probably not a usual task that you do, recreating your voter into online content, but if you're ever working with any type of Word doc, this is going to be some good practice for that. Why don't I actually just work with a new page? I do not feel like rearranging those PDF links anymore. So we're just going to add a new page. And actually, the nature of this probably would make sense more of an article, but don't worry, just for demonstration's sake. So actually, why don't we focus on this here as if we are posting an article. So what I find easiest when copying and pasting is copying kind of section by section. So rather than going from here down to where I need to stop, that's usually going to be a little bit harder to clean up because you're taking everything and then going back in after pasting and saying where you need to fix. If you go, section by section, you can clean up as you go. So first I'm starting with the title. The title is nice and straightforward because it doesn't hold on to any formatting. It's a plain text box here. So even if I picked up something with a bunch of formatting, it's not going to show up. But the body here, since we're working in WYSIWYG, that's where we want to make sure that we pay attention to the formatting. So since this is a page break, I'm just going to copy these sections. If I didn't have that page break, I could go and copy the rest, the rest of these paragraphs. But I'll just work with the sections half and half. And from your own mouse, you have the option to paste regular or paste as plain text. We're going to show both. So something pasted, but it's not showing up. It looks like that might not have. There we go. But for some reason it did not like my selection at first. So that's not bad. I thought that, some of this additional formatting would stick onto what we were pasting, but it does look like WYSIWYG has done some cleaning up for us. So you could probably keep pasting in, but rearranging your paragraphs would be the next step, and adding that formatting back. So the second paragraph starts with "we are spending." So I'm just going to hit enter, and then the same thing, hit enter on that last line so I can paste in what I have. And then the same thing with the last, I guess, 2 paragraphs. One final note is that last paragraph there. So now I've got the shape going.
Did you get the links?
No, so that is one thing that did not as well copy over. As far as the email links, we can spare ourselves because Milo, when you are saving it under WYSIWYG, Milo will hyperlink those automatically and will keep them protected from bots. So, we have a couple of emails here that we'll see hyperlink once I save. But yeah, we notice, oh, I wonder if they had any other links. So if there were other links outside of these email addresses, they may not have come over. So that's one thing to make sure of as well. I guess they didn't have too much additional formatting on the text. Let's copy this. I know this doesn't have the same to do with what we're copying, but just for the sake of it being italicized and underlined and made bold. So I'll just add it to a new box down here. So working with the body or the body with embed code and adding an additional formatted text box, it's kind of working in one and the same. This section is just going to appear right under this section here in the body. So in the formatted text, I'm just pasting as regular. Okay, so it looks like it doesn't take everything. So yeah, this kind of copying and pasting, it is probably less headache. I know it would be nice to have some of that original formatting sticking so that you don't have as much to fix. But sometimes when that does happen, when the formatting does stick, it makes it a little messier than our WYSIWYG would. So this is, to me, a blessing in disguise. So we just would recreate all that formatting. But I'm going to skip that section. I just wanted to see what that formatting would look like copying over. And then just to show an example of am I able to highlight this image? No. I wanted to show what it would be like if we did try to paste in an image, but I'm not able to copy that. But okay, let me see if I can finish just adding that little line so it somewhat looks like the same article. So I have my cursor at the end, and I am going to not only italicize that, but I want it to be floating to the right. So I could either do float image right or right justify, but since it's text, I'm just doing right justify there. Let's save it so we can see the emails.
Why didn't you use the paste from Word? There's on the bar, the WYSIWYG bar, there's the option to paste from Word.
That is the same as right clicking and selecting paste as plain text. But if somebody doesn't have that option with their own mouse, so if I right click, I can select paste as plain text or Control-Shift-V. And then we have paste from Word, which, oh, this is the plain text one here. Let's test it out. I do believe that it's going to spit out a plain text version.
If it does the same thing, what's the point of having it?
Let's see. Yeah, it's already, the text is already plain. So I don't know if that has to do with the source of this. Maybe this PDF is just not copying with the formatting regardless. I haven't tested it otherwise.
Well, it isn't Word. I thought you were working from Word, but
Oh, and that's, I see.
But-
It
but
is,
maybe- but maybe if
it's
you-
technically, it was a Word doc, but then they converted it to PDF, and maybe that's why it's not holding on to the formatting.
so maybe it's better to work from the Word doc.
I don't have access to those Word docs, but let me see if I can pull one up myself.
Yeah, my assumption was that copying from Word was designed to hold on to the formatting from.
Yeah, that's what mine was.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if this does it. So I'm copying now from a separate Word doc. There we go. And I insert. Okay, so yes, thank you for reminding me of this tool. So the Word, insert or paste from Word does work only if you're working from a Word doc. So if you are working from a PDF like I was, it won't work. Upon pasting, it's already plain text. So this is one way to help WYSIWYG best translate your formatting from a Word doc. And then the plain text button, the plain text button seems to just enable plain text pasting, I think just once. So if I choose to paste without plain text from my own, it does, oh, sorry, let's try that again because I had it set to heading 2. There we go. So if I paste without selecting plain text myself, oh, it still does. So I'm not sure. Oh, there we go. Okay, now it's enabled. Let's try that again. There we go. So the plain text button here gets, when you press it, it gets enabled just one time. If you hit the enter key, okay, it stays enabled, and I hit paste with my keyboard, and then it gets turned off. So it's just kind of a turn on for one time, and then you're back to regular paste.
Yeah, one other way to do that, that's got an extra step, but usually when I want to get rid of formatting, I just paste it in Notepad and then copy it out in Notepad and use it, because that pretty much strips off all the formatting.
No,
I
that's
do
a good,
that.
yeah, that's a good method, because then you aren't taking a chance with WYSIWYG possibly, translating it some different way, or, any hidden formatting is definitely zapped away when you put it in Notepad.
So now can you save that and show, and we can look at it to see how does it look on the
Let me actually
final page?
leave it as it was, its full article. I'm going to get rid of all these additions. There we go. And one more backspace. Okay.
Is there any way to make it single spaced?
You can. If you take a paragraph back up to its previous paragraph. On your keyboard, you'll hit Shift Enter or Shift Return.
But but it doesn't make the, I mean, right now, we are spending time, and the
Mhm.
next line is, 5 or 6 points further than a single space. It's not single spaced.
Oh, I see. I don't think that you can between lines. We have the option here of, paragraph or div. There might be a slight change between each lines with the div, that it might be a little bit closer, but I don't know.
It's like
I can't really tell. That what we know though for sure of the div, it removes that paragraph padding at the end of the paragraph. So if you do end up using div across your whole page, just know that the Shift Enter, Shift Return will help you separate your paragraphs. But yeah, this might be a little bit more scrunched together, rather than the paragraphs. Let's save it and see what it looks like. Okay. I feel like it is a little bit, each line is a little closer.
I can't tell.
Yeah, it's very hard. I think I'm trying to convince myself.
I wouldn't want it any closer. I wouldn't want it any closer, frankly.
Yeah, text that you try to read stuff that's too close and your eyes go nuts.
Yeah.
Right, but if it's going to be a long article for not overwhelming everybody, I think it's better.
So yeah, you have that in your back pocket. Like I think like we're all saying, we're not sure if it is taking some space away, but as you see fit, make use of that.
What are you saying? DID, what are you saying?
V. A V.
DIV.
That's
V?
important, so make sure she knows.
Yeah, let me go back over to it. Let's see, I think it's a style. Let me just wait until this is open.
Yes, and one important thing I found is a lot of times when the spacing doesn't work right, then
Oh,
I use the
DIV.
eraser.
DIV, I'm sorry.
No,
to
no
get
worries.
rid
I
of
didn't,
things.
I couldn't hear it. I thought you were saying DID. I got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mary Jo.
And Maddie, sometimes you use that eraser to get to div or paragraph. Or-
Well, when the spacing and stuff doesn't work the way I want, and then I just erase all the formatting, and then I use the div to put the spacing the way I want it.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
and one thing that confused me a lot in the beginning was you put the div on the top piece. That means the thing that comes after it doesn't have a space between it. Because I used to think that I had to put the div on the piece that I wanted to not have the space above it,
I
but
see.
it works on the space below it. Right?
Okay, yeah, so an example of that, let's say if I want these two paragraphs to be closer together, I need to make this one div.
Right.
So if I make this one div thinking that it might scrunch up, oh wait, I already have it set to div.
No, but you have.
You
to
should
put
be
a
able to
line.
But
delete
there
a
we go,
line.
yeah.
If it's a div, I think you could delete a line.
Yeah, I had a line added there, but yeah, so
Yeah.
if I have this second one set to div, it makes the paragraph below it scrunch up to
Very
it,
good.
even though it's set to paragraph. Yeah, another, since we're talking about div, that is also a format in our tables. Well, technically, format is what it's known as. So if we have text, just add some sentences. Yeah, that's fine. So format is kind of, it equates to div when we're talking about a table. If we click on div, it's the same look as the format. But paragraph, we notice that it is different. It's going to actually be a little bit bigger than our regular, or actually, no, it is going to be the same as You know, the text out here, since the format or div within a table is a little bit smaller text than our normal. So in case you're working with tables, you have a little bit of flexibility over the text size because of paragraph and div. And if you click paragraph again on something that's set to paragraph, it defaults back to format. I don't know if I was looking to save this. I think we're probably good as far as these changes. Were there any other questions about these kinds of formatting changes that we're talking about?
I was just gonna say that you tried to copy and paste a section that had a picture in it. And you said, oh, it doesn't seem to take the picture, but I know that with events, you know, I'll copy and paste the description of the event. And sometimes there's a picture in the middle of it.
Mhm.
And I don't even realize that until I'm looking to see what it, you know, what it looks like. And it went over perfectly. I mean,
Yeah, I-
it's
same
typically the
thing.
one I'm using for my picture to begin with, you know, but anyway.
Well, and that's where I think the HTML image tag is probably used, and that's probably why it is coming over. I'm gonna see if maybe I can try, with one of our own. Let's see if I can recreate one of our LWVC articles on Milo and see what that does.
Well, sometimes you're copying from another website that has an
Well, it is.
image.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so,
what
so
I'm
it's
saying.
already in,
Yeah,
in,
yeah. So,
Right,
Yeah, I
since
don't-
it's already somewhere online, it
Yeah,
is
yeah.
bound to
Yeah.
display.
yeah.
So, okay,
but
I
you
have
wonder
this.
what the magic is, where it's being stored. Where is that photo? Is it on the other site? Is it, is it, have
On
you
the other
moved
site.
it over into Milo or what?
It is on the other site. So you can tell, so this copied in nicely. It may be because our main site for LWVC is Drupal as well. So there's some just nice getting along between our sites and Milo. So that may be a huge reason why this is looking exactly as it did on our site. But you'll notice that there's a lot of HTML going on down here. It is not, you know, causing any problems for our WYSIWYG. It's just a lot of HTML that's necessary for our other sites, but, you know, not necessary for Milo here. But all that to say, because the image here has that same, you know, run on path of HTML, but then look at that, a little image tag. That's the image tag that is being pulled from lwvc.org. So that's why we do see the image there, since it is using an HTML image tag. I think that is the only other way that images are accepted in Milo. If you're not uploading through the media library, then you only have the image tags at your disposal. Copying and pasting won't work because that has led to memory loss issues. So we've locked that down for those reasons. I'm gonna go ahead and save that, but yeah.
So Maurice, that image that we saw though, it does not get uploaded to our media library, right? We're
Correct.
actually linking to it at the source.
Correct. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
And we can show that off too. If we right click and open the image in a new tab. Oh, just kidding.
Wow.
Look at that. So let's check the media library. So I was expecting it to read lwvc.org and kind of have the same /sites, all that, but it's reading Milo. So I'm going to check manage
Is
files.
Milo though, right?
What was that?
LWVC is Milo, right?
Not exactly. We do have connections between our site and Milo, and both are built on Drupal, but we aren't built on the same server.
So you don't have the same media library?
Correct.
It did
Okay.
have remote in there.
Yeah, I noticed that too here, remote. So it seems that we have a separate kind of temporary library that is outside of our main media library, this just is probably a security measure to have them housed within our site in a way, since they are being displayed on our site. So we won't be able to search for these images through our media library, but they are being, you know, housed by Milo once we put them through our page. And so that also, you know, if let's say this image, if the Disability Rights California group happened to delete their article and then this image is gone from the internet, we still would have this image because it's being housed by Milo. So that's nice to know. Yeah, so I definitely
that-
feel like
that-
go ahead.
That path you had, it had all sorts of numbers and things.
Oh.
Couldn't it actually have some kind of pointing to the actual site? You know, it doesn't say .jpeg or something like that.
It does
See
say .png. The question mark after is like additional details, like a query,
Oh,
but the
oh,
.png is
okay,
enough.
I see it now.
Mhm.
Okay, I didn't see that. Great.
Yeah. And I feel like I cheated since our site was Drupal and I just copied to our Drupal Milo, but
Looks nice.
we know at least that the images can be copied over if there's an image tag, which if the image is somewhere online, you're pretty much guaranteed that that is the case. And then, yeah, if you're working with the Word doc, we know we have that button to use. I wonder if, let's see, I still have this stuff copied to my clipboard. I'm going to test out that paste from Word button with what I have copied from our LWBC site.
You know, it seems to me that when I copy from Word, it copies over the formatting, even if I don't say, you know, copy from Word.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I noticed that too a second ago. So that
So I'm
probably
not sure
is.
why we have the button, but
I would think that, you know, probably 99% of the time when you're pasting directly into the body or whatever paragraph box you're working with, it probably will hold on to the formatting, as Maddie is saying. This button paste from Word is just always in your back pocket if needed. Yeah, it looks like it kept the same thing. The only thing that it did not keep was my image, which is not surprising if I did the paste from Word button. But yeah, so any other questions?
Well, you know, Maurice, I was just looking at what you were doing in, you know, the editing box. And I know I had asked once before if there was some way I could make the editing box bigger. Can you go back, you know, like if you were
Yeah, I'll go back to edit that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems bigger than what I usually have.
I do have my screen zoomed in.
Oh, okay, so it's something to do with the screen, okay.
Yeah, and you aren't able, unfortunately, to make it wider, but you can make it longer. So
Oh, that's longer, okay, longer would be nice too.
yeah, if you click disable rich text, there's this
Oh.
little like hamburger slide that comes up. So you
We'll
can
go
make
back
it,
to enable so I can see what it looks like.
and you can make it real long. Whoops. It might be
Oh.
difficult because I didn't make it too
Yeah,
much
that's
longer.
right, that's
but-
okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
if you
so-
ever want to just disable rich text, slide this down and then enable rich text.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Mhm. Any other questions?
Well, I did have a question about getting rid of spaces, but I don't know if that's, I don't know if that's on the topic or not.
Well, that's a formatting issue.
Yeah,
I
that's,
think it's
yeah.
valid.
So, and Jennifer knows which one it was. So I've got a section on our website called voter guides forums. And so I've been putting in some of them. And as you might know, we've worked with together, Jen and I, on the wording, but I've got
Mhm.
spaces in between. And I just can't seem to get rid of it. And even that's, I probably did try to use the the eraser with.
Is it this one
Okay.
here?
Oh, yeah, right there. So between the 3 stars and the Crestwood one. I mean, it's not horrible looking. And I was able to get actually it looks better than the one, the copy I made. So maybe I still did work on it, but
But I see that there's a like a line break right under those 3 diamonds.
yeah, and I just, I don't know if it's, I mean, it's not a big deal, but I just kept working in with it and I could not.
Did you use div?
Well, I don't think that's the issue there. I could be wrong. I think it has more to do with when I use the embed code, I think. And, I probably shouldn't skip any spaces. And I think that's what I was trying to go back to. But anyway.
Well, I can jump in there while we're here. I'm just masquerading as you real quick. Okay. So come on, load. There we go. Okay. So it could be, yeah, it was just the trailing space here at the bottom of this body paragraph box. Since the next line that you have starts here in this section, this line break was, interfering with the start of this section, if that makes sense. So this is the space that we want to get rid of.
Okay.
I just save it as a draft first.
So did you use the erase? Did you use the erase icon to do that? Or-
No, I just
She hasn't done it yet.
backspaced.
You haven't done it yet, right?
I did. I did.
Oh, it doesn't look like it
Oh, it
works.
doesn't look
why-
like you did.
That's why my face looks the way it does.
What is
Yeah,
that?
I'm like, what? So let's try again. I'm not sure.
I feel your pain.
No, I feel yours. Okay, let's try that again. So we get rid of it. Okay. What I'm also going to do, I'm with my cursor at the end of those where we want it to be, the end of this body paragraph box, I'm going to hit delete. It didn't
That's
look
what
like
I
it
was
did
gonna
anything.
suggest.
Yeah, it didn't look like it did anything, but I feel like it did something. Let's test that out. And just as a draft. Okay. So the only reason why it is so close is because this down here is set to div. So if you want, a little bit of padding under the diamonds, we can make that happen.
Well, typically I would. Yeah, it's not a big deal, but yeah. Yeah.
Do you want,
See, even that looks a little kind of far, but yeah, I thought it had something to do with the way I was embedding them or something. But
no, yeah, it was that just that space, that trailing space would not completely go away.
Could
But
she put a space before the start of the new paragraph? Like, where did we go? Where's the one that's too close, please?
This one and then the next section.
Oh, okay, so if she puts a break on the
think-
body with embed code,
Well, that's kind of what we just got rid of. I think we can try setting this to paragraph, these dots or diamonds, and that's going to give us just a little bit of padding underneath. I think it gave us a little padding up here as well.
Oh.
And do you want to keep these spaces in between?
Well, I mean, I think a little less space, but I want at least a line.
Let's see what Okay, no, that's about the same. I was trying a shift enter, but that's
Yeah, they-
about the same as what was there.
Yeah, I mean, that's okay, but it wouldn't be nicer to have, I guess, the DIV area or,
Well, I'm going to show you what this looks like with this set to paragraph, and then the following section is DIV. Let's see if it gives us a little bit more space in between. Okay, so
that looks
that's
good.
what, okay, so I
I
think,
like that.
I
like
think if we did,
Because it matches the other one, so yeah.
okay, so I think we can do it. And this kind of will show off what Maddie was talking about, how if you're going to use DIV, you have to apply it to
Mm,
kind of the section above, not the section that you want to see go up or,
okay.
yeah. So what I'm going to do first is just get rid of the spaces. Okay, so yeah, backspace and then delete. I don't know why it doesn't like just my backspace alone. Okay, so all these diamonds will be paragraph. Okay,
Okay, so Michigan is probably set to div.
yes. So we want this, we probably want, no. This should be set to div, correct?
Yeah,
Since,
Okay.
but now we have it a little bit too close, right?
Mhm.
Can you just
Hmm.
do an enter?
So if the dots are paragraph, then you'll get the space above Michigan again.
Okay, yes, thank you. I knew we were there. I knew there was some
Playing around
solution.
with this a lot. So,
Thank you, Maddie. Okay, so we have the text as DIV, and then the diamonds right under it are paragraphs so that we can get a little padding under the diamonds. And then again, we continue with the text in DIV, and then the section divider set to paragraph again. So let's see what that looks like.
Oh, nice.
You
Yeah,
don't mind that they're different
Oh.
distances?
it's better than it was, that's for sure.
What we could do, if we
Yeah.
did, if you wanted them to be equidistant from each section, we
Now,
could
you're just doing this for training purposes, right? Right.
Well, yeah, I
Okay.
think it's worthwhile to show the
Alright.
difference between paragraph and div. Let's
Yes,
just, let's do that. I'm gonna set that to paragraph along with this line. And it
Right.
shouldn't mess with the other spacing, just the spacing between that line and the diamonds.
Correct.
Which ones were they again? Okay, this one. And I think I'll just place my cursor there, set that to paragraph. So we saw it jump down, and then this one here. Okay. So did we
Oh,
just set everything to
yeah.
paragraph? No, this is the only one that's still div. So it's okay, not bad. And let's see. And all of these different drafts are saved. So if there's like one you wanted to revert back to, we could always do that.
yeah, that's even. Yeah,
It's even, but
I like-
it's spread out still.
well, for me, I think it's fine.
It looks to me like what you started with, but,
Well, no, there was a little, no, it's, to me, it's definitely different.
well, glad you're happy.
Yeah. But is Jennifer Teller happy?
I don't count.
She works on other important stuff.
No, it's like, no, whatever makes Mary Jo happy, I'm happy.
Thank you.
Whatever.
Aaron.
Awesome.
Hopefully it helped others too.
I live to serve her. I'm her minion.
I I can't wait to see tomorrow. We have a board meeting and one of the things one of our people do is the Google Analytics. I hope people are looking at all this stuff that we take the time to put in.
Yeah. Oh, I bet.
It's usually
Um,
pretty good.
Yeah.
Can't you just do it now?
Well, I'm not the one that does it, so I don't know how to do it.
But Maurice knows.
Yeah, if you did need something and you knew like the specifics, like if you're looking for traffic on these pages, I can always look that up.
But I
If
mean,
you don't already
can't-
have access.
But can't you do it here from her website? Isn't that, I mean,
I don't know how it works. I don't know. how
From
it
her
works.
website, I can't. I would have to just be accessing my Google Analytics account.
Right.
okay, because mine comes, my URL for that is available, I guess, and it's from, well, I guess I have the URL and bookmarks, so I can go right to it.
So I should ask the person that gets it if she can just, I thought I had done that once, but just a simple URL because I like to look at it myself.
Oh, Liz, are you saying that you have a way to look at the analytics online through a link? Or like
Yeah.
outside of your Google account?
It's in my, yeah, I have a bookmark that I just go to.
Oh,
But it goes
Yeah.
to the Google account. It goes to,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
right.
it lets me look at it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna ask her. Thanks.
yeah. I know that there's ways to share reports, so there may be that option of, sharing an online report or something that you will
Oh,
always have
oh.
access to.
Does more than one person look at it in your league, Liz?
No, I'm the
Oh, so
only-
maybe, okay, I didn't know there was an issue there, Maurice. Okay.
Was an
Well,
issue.
it sounded like you were saying that usually it's just one person that does it or one account or something. or one-
Well, that's
user
usually how,
does it.
yeah, it'll start out that way since it's the Google Analytics is tied to someone's Google account. But then you can
Oh.
always, you can have additional account administrators. I think you could even share just a specific report.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Like Google Docs.
Well, yeah, she shows them at the board meeting, so that's fine. I thought if it was easier, I could just look myself, but anyway, so it's always fun when she reports.
Yeah, but yeah, maybe we'll have another Google Analytics session again soon. We are still using our Universal Analytics. We know that the upgrade from Google is coming soon, but we have that on our radar